The last round begins with me having this 14-point hand in third chair. Now, I'm always looking at 14-point hands, deciding whether I should upgrade them to 1 no trump. This hand had a lot of reasons why I don't think it's a good idea. For starters, since I'm so heavy in the majors, there's not so much risk in me letting the opponents enter the auction at the 1 level. Like, if my opponents overcall a major, I'm very happy. And also, if we actually have a major suit fit, I've got a hand that's really nice and strong for playing a 4-4 fit in a major. So I don't really want to have it go 1 no trump all pass and find out that we were supposed to be in 2 hearts and 2 spades. And a big thing about opening 14-point no trumps is I need to keep in mind that most people in the room are not opening 14-point hands and no trumps. So when I do it, I really want to be sure that it's going to be a positive equity situation. I don't think that I don't like to take risks on my opening bid unless I feel like it's a very valuable position. So I opened the hand of diamond, and it went 2 club overcall, pass back to me. Now, typically when I'm short in my opponent's suit, I like to I tend to reopen double, and unless I can tuck myself out of it for some reason, I'm going to reopen double. And my partner is a passed hand, and we are vulnerable, so there is quite a bit of risk involved with reopening double. At the same time, if partner was making a trap pass for clubs, I have an amazingly good defensive hand. I have 2 clubs, which is fantastic for defense, and ace jack 10 king. Everything about my hand is good for defense. And when my partner does have a four card major suit fit for me, it looks like we're probably going to make 2 hearts or 2 spades, even though partner didn't make a negative double. Partner not being strong enough to make a negative double just means that they don't have a good, 8-10 point hand somewhere in there. So there's a lot of hands that are just slightly weaker, slightly too weak to make a negative double, that we are going to have a happy place into a major. So I reopened double, and now my opponent bid 2 spades, and it went all pass. When it came pass back to me, I was pretty happy with the situation. And sometimes when you're reopening and letting your opponents find a different place to play is bad, but I really like the fact that they're playing in my king-queen 4 suit. I have a very nice defensive hand for 2 spades, and clearly I had no reason to bid again over 2 spades. I was very content with them playing in this spot. Now, what am I expecting for 2 clubs, then 2 spades? East is either going to be 6-5 or 6-4. And if they're 6-4, they have a very strong hand. And the reason I say that they promise 6 clubs is because they're forcing their partner to make a preference to 3 clubs in this auction. So if partner chooses clubs over spades, they're forcing their partner to bid at the 3 level, so they need another club than they've already mentioned. So Joel led the 7 of hearts, and dummy hit with a pretty weird dummy. I was very surprised to see that they'd passed 2 spades on potentially a 4-1 fit with 1-1 in the pointed suits, or rather the black suits. So if I had their hand, I know it's kind of ridiculous. I don't like any of my options, but passing 2 spades would be my last option. I certainly would, at a minimum, have corrected back to 3 clubs. So the 7 of hearts, knowing that Declarer is 6-4, has at least 10 cards in the black suits, we play 3rd and 5th. So if Joel has led 3rd, he has king 9-7, and he could have the last one as well. And otherwise, he's led from 7-5 doubleton. Those are really the only holdings that I think he could have. Okay, he could have singleton 7, but that means Declarer has a void in diamonds. So at trick 1, I didn't really have any risk of putting in the 10 of hearts. Declarer could not physically have the singleton king of hearts. It might time out badly, but if they do have king doubleton, but it was a pretty easy play to play the 10 of hearts. So now that the 10 of hearts won, this is a very interesting hand to defend. I can see that dummy has no entry to enjoy all those good diamonds, and once Declarer didn't play the king of hearts on the 10, I know that Declarer has a singleton heart. So now Declarer's shape in my mind is either 4-1-2-6 or 5-1-1-6. And Joel didn't lead a doubleton diamond, which makes me think he probably has 3 of them. It just seems a little strange to me that I opened a diamond, he didn't lead my suit. It seems like it's very likely that he's got 3 diamonds, and so that really narrows down Declarer's shape at this point to 5-1-1-6. Immediately at trick 1, that's what I'm thinking. So now, if Declarer is 5-1-1-6, I can see that if I don't play a trump, that Declarer might be able to ruff clubs in dummy, or a club in dummy. But to me, it looks like Declare's got very strong clubs, like probably Ace King Jack 6, maybe even Ace King Jack 10 6, in which case the trump in dummy is irrelevant. And if Declare does have very strong clubs, then it's really important that I shorten Declare's trumps. What I don't want to have happen is for Declare to be able to draw trumps and then enjoy all of their clubs. And it's funny to look at this King Queen Jack 10 9 6 of diamonds in dummy and be fearing them taking club tricks, but that's again because there's not going to be an entry. There might be one entry, but not with the Queen of Clubs, but not after trumps are drawn. So I decided to play back a low heart to force Declare to ruff, bringing them down to what I believe to be 4 trumps. So Declare did ruff, and now they started banging high clubs. They led Ace of Clubs, and when I saw the Ace of Clubs drop to the Queen, I'm like, oh no, I just gave them a free ruff to dummy, but then Declare followed it up with the King of Clubs, and so now I was a lot happier. And they now played a third round of clubs, a third high club, the Jack, and partner played the 10. So now I know Declarer is either 7-4-1-1 or 6, or my partner's got a club stopper. So because my partner played the 10, they would play the 10 from 10-9. That would be what the 10 would imply. It's either his last one or he's promised the 9. Because obviously he would never play the 10 from 10 little because that would be giving away a trick. So I roughed it, and now I still believe that Declarer's got 5 trumps most likely. It just doesn't look like they've got 7. And the truth is, if Declarer has 7 clubs and 4 spades, I don't really care how I defend this hand. We're going to get a great board because they're playing in a 4-1 fit instead of their 7-1 fit. So I'm focused on Declarer having 5-1-1-6. So now Declarer still has 1 more trump than me, and so I see no reason not to continue forcing him to ruff. So I played back the Ace of Hearts, and he trumped it. So now Declarer played another club, and Joel had the 9. So now we know Declarer only had 6 clubs. So now I'm just playing Declarer for 5-1-1-6. And there's not really much left to do on the hand. I can't play trumps because then they'll be able to finesse me. So at this stage, I just played the Ace of Diamonds, taking Declarer's only diamond out of their hand. And then I played back the Jack of Hearts. And Joel, unfortunately, could not overruff the 9 of Spades. So now, the reason I cashed the Ace of Diamonds was so that when I play the Jack of Hearts, that Declarer wouldn't be able to just throw away their diamond. That they'd be forced to trump my heart, allowing Joel to potentially overruff. But he didn't, and so Declarer played out a club, and I ruffed it, and now I just played back. Now Joel, having pitched a diamond on the Jack of Hearts and now pitching a diamond on the 8 of Clubs, is out of diamonds. So there's still a chance Joel might, I could hope that he could overruff Declarer now, but it wasn't the case. Declarer just had the Ace Jack of Spades left. But still, 2 spades, 2 down was a fantastically good board for us, and that brings us to the final round of the day. The last board of the day is another defensive problem. The opponents open a spade on my right and bid 2/1, 2 diamonds, 2 hearts, 3 diamonds, 3 hearts, 3 no. And Joel led the Queen of Clubs and dummy hit with the expected 5-5 in the majors. And, a bad hand, but a hand that I would definitely call an opening bid, and I'm sure most people in the room opened it. So the Queen of Clubs for us, it shows the king, and we're supposed to give an attitude signal. Typically when we lead the Queen of Clubs, it's going to be from a suit like King Queen 10 5th or King Queen 10 4th, where if Declarer plays low, Joel's going to need to know whether I have the Jack to know whether it's safe to continue the suit, or else he might. If I don't have the Jack, he doesn't want to lead into Declarer's Ace Jack. So my signal is upside down attitude. I'm going to tell Joel I don't like it, in case the Queen wins the trick. So they won the Ace, which is a little strange. Typically, I was expecting Declarer to duck whether they had Ace Jack or not. So when they win the Ace, it almost looks like they have 2 club tricks, but it's not clear to me yet, and we'll find out a little later. Declarer led Ace of Diamonds, and Joel played the 8, and King of Diamonds, and Joel played the 10. Now, it's looking like Declarer already bid and rebid diamonds, so they're probably got 6 or 7 diamonds, and we'll see what happens now. I was sort of expecting Declarer to play a 3rd round of diamonds, but now they actually didn't. They played a spade, and Joel and I play, like I said, upside down carding, so a high spade for him. He's giving me count because it's a situation where I'm going to need to know whether I should win the ace of spades directly or whether I need to duck to sever the opponent's communication. So his 10 has showed me an odd number of cards, so I know that Joel has 3 and Declare has 2. Now, Declare does have the ace of hearts and dummy, but still there's no rush for me to win the ace of spades. I can see that I'm going to be able to play clubs whenever I do win the ace of spades, so I'm going to just duck the spade for now. Now when Declare plays the queen of spades, I no longer need to duck to sever their communication, but I might be able to duck, and if when Joel plays low, Declare won't know whether the suit's 3-3, so if they have another possible line of play, they might actually take it. Now, so I ducked and it won the trick, and now Declare immediately played a third round of spades. So that meant that they really were down to a last resort with running spades. So now I wasn't really sure whether I was supposed to play the queen of diamonds or not. So let's say Joel has 4 good clubs. That means that dummy will be, after we've taken the 4 good clubs, dummy will be down to the ace of hearts and good spades. So if I don't take the queen of diamonds, then it's going to go away. But so one thing, the risk in playing the queen of diamonds is I'm setting up Declare's diamonds, and if they do have an entry, that's not so good. But the way I saw it, Joel, he's got the king, so at least if it looks like Declare's 2-1, 6-4 if they have a club trick. So I feel like it's safe for me to cash the queen of diamonds and see what Joel discards. If Joel discards a club, then I'll know to play hearts, and if he discards a heart, then I'll know to play clubs. And because I know that Declare doesn't have an immediate entry in both suits, clubs and hearts, to their hand. If they did have all these entries, there was a good chance they were just going to try to establish their diamonds right away. So the queen of diamonds, Joel pitched the 8 of hearts, and so now I played back a club, and we got that extra down trick. Cashing the queen of diamonds was worth one more trick. Now, it's possible that one more thing was on the second round of spades, Joel may have given me suit preference to tell me whether he liked clubs or hearts. The only issue with that is by keeping the 9 in his hand, he's leaving Declare with a situation where Declare doesn't necessarily know that spades are 3-2, and they might choose to switch gears, 3-3 rather. So I couldn't really trust his suit preference signal, but for sure when I played the queen of diamonds, his 8 of hearts was very clear, play a club for me, and that was that. And so that brings us to the end of the game. That was a great last round, and we finished pretty strong, and overall our session was very solid. We had a few mishaps, but no real disasters, and we'll go over where we stand in next week's video.